I am doing a full-length story every day this month, so let's see what story we have today. Am I wrong for telling my husband his mom can't live with us?
You can't sit with us. You can't sit with us!
This story first came March 9th, 2025. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years, and our son is 10 months old. We live in Canada. Hey! That was so Canadian. Hey! Should have said that instead. I grew up here while my husband immigrated when he was a student. My parents live nearby, which has been invaluable during my pregnancy and since. My mom comes over regularly to help us out, and my husband and her are on good terms too, so it has been going well. His parents live in another country. We have visited them once since we got married, and that was 7 months ago. The time prior to that was our wedding itself, which took place over there. My husband has been talking about my mother-in-law visiting soon for a long visit, which I was happy with. We recently moved into a new house. I've done a good job decorating it. We have a large guest room, and I was looking forward to hosting her, especially since it would make my husband happy. A couple of days ago, he was complaining about how detailed her visa application was. I told him I was surprised it was so thorough. He told me that it's because while regular visa forms allow a stay of 6 months max, this one allows 2 years. I asked why she would need a stay of more than 6 months. He said that she had been thinking of winding up her medical practice and basically retiring, and that this would allow her to stay for a longer visit if we all decide that it works. Oh, so you mean for her to just come and live with you? Yeah, that's a lot different than hosting someone for a visit. I was stunned. I told him he should just do the regular app because his mom won't be staying for anywhere close to 6 months. I had it in my mind that she'd be staying for like a month. That's how long we stayed for when we went over there. He said that it's his mom. She tells him how alone she feels. She can't go to my brother-in-law's because he lives with roommates, and we can't just put a timer on her visit over here. He said that she's been looking forward to helping us out with our son. I told him we don't need help. We manage fine on our own and with my mom's help. I wanted to host his mom as a guest, not as part of our household. He complained that how was it fair that my parents could visit whenever they wanted while he can't. I was hurt by that because my parents have helped us out, and I asked him if he wants to limit how often my mom comes to visit. He said no, that's not what he meant, that he likes her, but it wasn't fair to his parents. My reply was that when my mom comes, she goes at the end of the day. That wouldn't be the case with him. I ended it by saying that he should look into the easier regular form because she can't be thinking of staying for that long. He chose to sleep on the couch that night and has been cold with me ever since. I hate that. We have never been cold to each other like this. I talked to my mom too. She said that having his mom live with us for long stretches would definitely affect me, and that this is worth fighting for. I haven't seen him working on the application since. Last night he went out when his mom called, and when he came back, I asked him how she took the news. He told me he had told her he is looking into what application best suits her. He asked me if I had changed my mind. I said no. He just shook his head and started watching TV. Am I the a-hole? Interesting story we have here today. I'm curious what people are going to say about this. We might have some mixed opinions. This is the top comment so far from Reddit. Someone commented and said, if she is already feeling lonely, how is she going to feel after retiring and spending up to 6 months in another country? What is her plan for when she returns? It almost sounds like he wants her to permanently move in with you. Have you discussed that in the past? And is that an expectation in their culture? OP responded, I've been getting some comments about what OP means. OP means original poster. So it's just the author and whoever wrote and submitted the story. OP wrote, no, we have never discussed her or his dad moving in. Honestly, some of my extended family in Pakistan do have this arrangement where families live together, but this was never something that was on the cards for us because his parents are well established over there. We have an update, and it came March 11th. Yesterday, when he came back from work, I tried to start the conversation again. He had been giving me the cold shoulder since all of this started. I told him I'm his wife of 2 years and the mother of his child. child, this isn't how we're going to communicate. We started talking after that. I held my ground that his mom staying with us for so long was not an option. If she wanted to visit Canada for longer than a couple of months, she would have to live in her own apartment, learn how to drive, or use public transport. She is used to being driven by a hired driver in Pakistan, and a whole bunch of other changes that she would need to get used to. That I don't see myself changing my mind on this, so he needs to be honest with her and himself and not go down the "we'll keep our options open" route. He said that he knows living with us for an extended stay would require some changes on our part, but he was asking me to do this as a favor for him, that I claim to love him and yet can't do this favor for his mom. I actually started sobbing when he said this. It was so hurtful that he was using this as a litmus test for our love. I said her being around for years would ruin our parenthood with our first child, that I want us to raise our child the way we see fit, not his mom. Also, all the intimate moments we have, our sex life, everything would suffer. My parents are Pakistani too. I know that this will happen. He again asked me to just not shut the door completely, and he'll tell his mom that she can stay for a month or so, and I can let him know if I think the change wasn't too much. Oh, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think she can come and then be like, decide a month or so in and be like, okay, are you gonna tell her she has to leave now? Because I haven't changed my mind. I feel like just being honest with her from the start is a lot better than getting her there, letting her stay, and then saying, okay, you gotta go, because my wife never actually wanted you here for this long. I feel like honesty. You gotta just rip that Band-Aid and tell her the truth of what's going on. And we landed on a compromise that for now, they will do the regular visa application that only allows a max stay of 6 months. If I change my mind, he will do the super visa. He then had a long call with his mom, which his older sister also joined. It actually lasted an hour and a half. He was in the backyard for the call and came back in to grab a chair. That's how long it was. Also, from what I could see, he was mostly listening for the conversation. When he came back in, he told me to just not answer any calls or messages from his mom or sister. Meanwhile, I have received like 4 missed calls and 20 messages from them, mostly quotes about the rights of parents. I've told them I can't talk right now since I'm busy with my son right now. I asked him how it went. He said as well as he expected, but he's not giving me the cold shoulder anymore. I do feel guilty because, like I said, I was actually looking forward to hosting her for a month, and I think this whole thing may have caused irreparable damage, not just to my relationship with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, but my husband's relationship with his mom and sister. I've told my mother-in-law I will call her back in a couple of hours once my husband is back. I'm dreading that conversation, but I know what my boundaries are. Thank you for the feedback. It helped. Edit. Also, one thing I want to clarify, a few times in my last post, a lot of people were like, this is what happens when you marry outside your culture. My husband and I are both Pakistani descent, just that I was born here while he immigrated here as a student. But he has been here for like a decade now too. All right, the top question on this update was his older sister. Why isn't she offering up her home? OP responded and said his sister is married and lives with her in-laws in Pakistan, and his older brother lives with roommates. So I guess not an option. All right, so we have an update that actually is dated the same day. I spoke to my mother-in-law. Since her missed calls and text messages were asking me to call her, I figured I should be the one to call, not my husband. But I put my phone on speaker so that my husband, who was lying on the couch, could also hear it. She said that my husband had told her I thought it would be best if she restricts her trip to 1 month, since it was her first time in Canada and because we were really busy with my son. She said that ever since my husband had gone to Canada as an 18-year-old, he'd always wanted her to visit for a long duration, and now all of a sudden, he was asking her to restrict it when she wanted to help with her grandson, and said she knew I must be the reason why. I said it was a joint decision because of the circumstances, but she wouldn't hear it. She said if she is visiting for more than a month was so outrageous to us, then that's fine. She'll limit her stay, but I should know that in Pakistan, in-laws, they live in the same house with the married couple, like my sister-in-law does, and that she thought I was in touch with my roots when I was getting married because that's what my husband had told her. But she was disappointed at how whitewashed I was. At this point, my husband asked me to give him the phone, but not before I told her that I was totally comfortable with how in tune I was with my heritage, and that apparently so was her son. I told her my husband had just come home and handed him the phone. My husband went in the yard to talk, but I was so angry I decided to eavesdrop. I would have done the same thing. In fact, just put it on speaker and just remain in the room with me. He was talking to both my mother-in-law and father-in-law. He told them that it's not like he fled to Canada in the middle of the night as a student. They both had happily seen him off at the airport, and that when he had introduced me, he hadn't kept the fact that I was born and raised in Canada as a secret either, and that they can't expect to treat us like a couple in Pakistan. Then he listened a whole lot for like half an hour. I gave him a chair again, and kept telling me that it's different now. They ended the call with him saying that we were both really looking forward to her visit and that we'll make sure it's a great 30 days or so with us and her grandson. He apologized to me on behalf of his mom and asked me to please let her lecture go and still be on board with the 1-month plan. I'm looking forward to it much less than I was, but I said fine. Oh, that would be so much worse now. You gotta be a little bit uncomfortable now. After all, the animosity and the things that are said. Ugh. Top question on this post, someone asks, what if she stays longer than a month? Yeah, what are you gonna force her out? Like, I don't know. OP responded and said, I honestly don't know. She said she'll visit for a month, but was really upset about the fact that she had to. I'm just going to assume everyone keeps to their word for now. It's Ramadan and Eid soon as well, our first Eid with our son to look forward to. I don't want to think about what happens if she decides to stay longer. We got more updates, but I need a sip of water first, and so do you. Thank me later. Cheers. Drink your water. Wouldn't life be more fun if it was like juice that would hydrate us? Yeah, I agree.
You guys, I'm making tea and I wanted to use one of my cute little mugs. And then once you add water, look how goopy he looks. He almost looks like a jelly candy. Oh my God, so funny.
All right, the next update came March 31st. I had made my peace with the 1-month stay and was fully planning on being cordial during it. Yesterday, we celebrated Eid at my parents' house. It was our first Eid with our son, and we were all so happy about it, getting to dress him in his cute little traditional clothing. I sent her some pictures of the event because she always asks us to send pictures. Her reply was not what I expected. She started saying how far we were from them and said that this is the problem with marrying someone not from Pakistan, that the parents suffer as a result, and how unfair it is that my parents get her son and grandson to themselves. My heart literally shrank reading it. I knew she missed us, but to hear her say she essentially regrets our marriage was so hurtful. I just left her on read. I showed it to my husband. He sincerely apologized and thanked me for not responding to her. I have to host her for a month. How am I supposed to do that now? I would have normally asked my mom for advice on this stuff since she's more well acquainted with dealing with someone from Pakistan, but I actually feel she'll lose it at my mother-in-law when she visits if I share this with her. Oh, it's getting so messy. Do we think it's a good idea for this visit? Oh no, I don't think this is gonna work out well. I really don't. There's so much animosity already. I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm also trying to be honest. Next update came April 3rd. Today, my husband told me that our visa application had been rejected. They're applying for the notes regarding the decision, but according to him, it is futile and that it was always a 50-50 shot, that the most common reason for rejections is having insufficient ties back home, which makes them think that the application won't go back and that he had thought having my father-in-law remain there would have fixed that, but apparently not. I'm not going to lie, it's like a huge weight has been lifted off of me. I'm trying to act disappointed, but I was dreading her visit. You were probably so excited. She's like, oh, awful. That's such bad news. Oh man. In your head, you're like, oh, confetti. He said she was inconsolable when he spoke to her earlier and that she asked him to look into us moving to Pakistan. I love Pakistan, but it's never going to happen. When he shut that down, she gave him his uncle's number who lives in the UAE for job leads so that we could move to the UAE. Again, I'm sure it's a great place, but no. So that we would be a 2-hour flight away from them and have our family grow in that environment. He told her it's going to be difficult, but agreed to talk to him. I was a bit angry about this. I told him there is no way we're moving to the UAE, and he said, of course we're not. We have built a life here. He has a great career here, but he didn't want to completely shut down his mom. I personally disagree with that. I think she deserves the truth, but whatever. Yeah, he's not helping the situation because he's almost giving her slivers of hope, knowing already that it's not an option and you're not going to do that. So it's making it worse, really. I'm going to talk to her tomorrow because again, while I was no longer looking forward to hosting her, I was fully committed to doing so. Unfortunately, this does mean that most of our family vacations will have to be to Pakistan now since they can't visit us here. We already need to go there in December because they were planning to have his brother's wedding done then. It sucks that we have had all this bad blood now for no reason. Like, I'm sure she hates me now, and while I've tried very hard to forget what she said about my upbringing and heritage, I can't, and I see her in a whole new light. Next update, next day. Our phone call went well for like the first few minutes when I expressed how sorry I was that she wasn't able to come and that the visa officers should have been more considerate. It went downhill after that. She said that this probably means she'll never be able to visit Canada and a few weeks a year isn't enough, that my parents have gotten to be close to us for 2 years and now it should be their right, and asked if my husband called his uncle about the job in the UAE since he wasn't answering her texts. I said I don't know, but it won't work anyways. We live in Canada, we've started a family here, we have a support system here. My husband has a great career here, but we will definitely have as many vacations together as possible so she could spend time with my son. She then went on about how my sister-in-law, her daughter, has been living with her in-laws since she got married, how bad her mother-in-law is, and how lucky I was to have such loving in-laws who just want to be close to us, and I should be more grateful. I told her I'm grateful for my son, my husband, and for everything we have, and I told her I needed to go, and I ended the call before I said anything more to her while she's still down in the dumps about the visa. I texted my husband this immediately before she got to him. He's probably not going to be happy because he wanted us to let her be comforted by the UAE idea, but I don't care anymore. She needs to be told that we're never moving. I'm only going to call her on important occasions now, like Eid, and to send pictures if my husband asks, but that is it. A sincere thank you to the visa officer who made the decision. Also, based on a comment that said my son may automatically be a Pakistani citizen after all, I did call the Pakistani consulate, and when I explained the situation, the lady there said my son is technically a Pakistani citizen. Then I asked about myself because it hit me that my situation when I was born would have been similar to my son's. She said I was a citizen too. I'm going to be looking into how this can affect our visa before we attend my brother-in-law's wedding in December in Pakistan. You know, by your husband not being honest with her, it's really making you look bad because over on her end, like mother-in-law's end, she's thinking, well, my son is saying it's an option, but you're saying it's not. So you're the problem and you're the reason why all this, like she's putting all the blame on you because your husband also is too in a way by leaving that door open and giving her hope. it looks like you're just like the big bad guy calling all the shots, you know? All right, so we have an update in very recent times. So fast forward a bunch, October 16th, 2025. And I guess OP posted this with the title, "Would I be the a-hole if I tell my husband we can't take our 18-month-old son with us to a wedding in another country?" So this is a brand new post, but we know the backstory. My husband, our son, and I are due to go to Pakistan in a couple of weeks for his brother's wedding. We're supposed to be going there for 2.5 weeks for the wedding and then a few days after too. As the days are counting down, I'm not feeling good about taking our son with us there, and I want to leave him with my parents who live 5 minutes away from us. I know this seems like I don't trust my husband. I absolutely do, but I guess I don't trust the circumstances over there, especially not when it comes to my son. I know that they're all keenly waiting to see him and they will be disappointed. As things stand, I probably will decide to tell my husband today that I'm not okay with taking him with us, even if the verdict is that I'm the a-hole. But I just wanted to know if the abruptness and the implication that I don't trust what could happen over there would make me somewhat of an a-hole. Oh gosh, I just know after everything mother-in-law has said about not being able to be in the grandson's life and everything, this is not going to be fun for you guys. We have the final update, November 25th. 2025. I'm really intrigued to see how this all ended for you guys. A few people have been concerned about whether I was okay, and so I just wanted to update that we are back in Canada now. So I know this might annoy a lot of you, but contrary to a lot of advice about not taking my son and not going myself either, we both did accompany my husband. I had opened up to my husband about my fears about how it had been messing with me. He sincerely gave me his word that he is absolutely committed to the life we have here, that we will be coming back, and that he won't put us in harm's way like that. He said his mom was difficult, but stopping us from going back was not something she would ever do, so I chose to trust him. The days leading up to the wedding were good, maybe because we were also busy with all of the events. My son and I didn't get sick, fortunately, but my husband fell ill almost as soon as we landed. And my mother-in-law was nice during those days, putting me front and center in all of the events, introducing me to everyone, and that half of the trip went well. After the wedding, my husband took the three of us for a couple of days to the northern mountainous part of the country. She had objected to that, saying these days we're supposed to be spending time with them, and even insisted that we leave our son behind, but I was completely opposed to that. We had a good time there. When we came back, she acted the way I had been dreading. Remarks about how my husband had made a mistake marrying someone in Canada. Apparently, when him and her were out grocery shopping, she had lectured him on how he was supposed to have gone to Canada to study and make a professional career, not find a girl, and that she had raised him better than to only prioritize looks in a partner. Okay, like, does she like you at all? This is what I had needled out of him. So the reality is much worse, I imagine. We had hosted some family friends of theirs one night, and when they left, she made it known how compatible their daughter would have been with my husband, how willing they had been, etc. I had kept the peace for his sake for the most part, but here I had snapped and I told her she shouldn't have sent her son to Canada then, should have kept him here and had him marry a nice Pakistani girl. I later told him if she kept this up, we would all be moving to a hotel for the remainder of the trip, and I think he spoke to her because she made the disrespect less explicit after that. But that's how the later half went. I mostly just kept to our room or went with him wherever he took us. So whatever's done now, I guess. And our son was doted on by everyone there, and he was happy. His parents had brought up us moving to Pakistan or the UAE again the night before our flight back. My husband told them he had recently been promoted, he had a career, we had bought a house. We had a life in Canada. She got tearful again about how little she gets to see us as opposed to my parents who can visit whenever. This is certainly not something we can do every year. His brother was getting married, so we had to do this trip, but this is not how I want our family vacations to be. We need to be having vacations as a family, just the three of us, in places that aren't Pakistan too, and I'm going to let him know about that. So much stress. So much stress. Any kind of stress with in-laws must be so awful to deal with, because then it starts affecting your relationship with your partner. What a mess. Let me know your thoughts on this story. Was she the a-hole? How did she handle this? How did he handle it? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.